Welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Ofonono Joseph, coming to you live from Oyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Let's take a look at the top stories. Presidency replies El-Rufai, says Tinubu has no plans to extend tenure beyond 2031. Court adjourns Natasha'S cybercrime trial till October 20. Plus, Egypt's President Sisi pardons jailed Egyptian-British activist Alaa Fatah. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good afternoon, and we're glad to have you join us on the news at 4. We begin the news from the national theme, where the presidency has said that President Bola Tinubu has no intention of remaining in office beyond May 28, 2031 if re-elected in 2027, affirming that he remains committed to democratic principles. In a statement on Sunday, the special advisor on Information and Strategy to President Tinubu, Bayo Onanuga, said that the speculation by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai that the president wants to remain in power beyond his tenure is baseless and absurd. Recall that during a solidarity visit from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar over the weekend, El-Rufai alleged that the Tinubu administration is veering toward authoritarianism, comparing the president to Cameroon's Paul Biya, who has remained in power since 1982. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in New York, United States of America, to attend the 80th week-long session of the United Nations General Assembly, scheduled to hold in the city today, September 22 to Sunday, September 28, 2025. The Vice President, who is representing President Bola Tinubu, is set to deliver Nigeria's national statement at the global event, participate in the UN high-level general debate, and attend various side events. While in New York, the Vice President will announce Nigeria's new Nationally Determined Contributions, NDCS, under the Paris Agreement and attend the high-level roundtable of the global champions on adequate and affordable housing, present Nigeria's national statement, and engage in several bilateral meetings and other engagements. According to a statement by his media aide, Stanley Nkwocha, he was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, and the Charge d'Affaires at the Permanent Mission of Nigeria to the United Nations, Ambassador Samson Itagboje, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, the Nigerian Defense Attaché in New York, Brigadier General Edward Koleoso, and Defense Attaché Washington Group, Captain Sani Kalgo, among others. Away from that, the federal government has set up a committee to investigate the cause of the explosion at the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, Deacon Complex in Kaduna State. Recall that on Saturday there was an explosion at the Ordnance Factory disposal pit of the factory. Speaking in a live broadcast, the managing director of Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited and the former head of security at the Senate, Kabir Adamu, said the incident is currently being investigated by the federal government. According to him, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has visited the facility to assess the situation. In the meantime, the federal government has announced its plans to achieve 95% digital literacy among Nigerians by 2030, with a specific target of training and empowering at least 30 million citizens by 2027. the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, Kashifu Abdullahi, represented by the agency's Director of Stakeholder Management, Aristotle Onumo, met this noon in Abuja at the grand finale of the Tech for Deaf Digital for All Challenge 2.0. Abdullahi explained that NITDA is driving the initiative through strategic partnerships, particularly with the National Youth Service Corps and educational institutions across the country. Highlighting the role of NYSC, Abdullahi noted that the agency trains core members as digital literacy champions who are deployed nationwide. He further revealed that NITDA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, has successfully integrated digital literacy into the national curriculum at all levels of education. On judicial matters, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kudirat Kekerekun, will on Monday, September 29, swear in 57 new senior advocates of Nigeria as part of programs lined up to formally herald the 2025-2026 legal year of the court. The occasion is billed to hold at the main courtroom of the Apex Court. In a statement by the court's Director of Information and Public Relations, Dr. Festus Akonde, confirmed this in Abuja. According to reports, during the special court session, the Chief Justice of Nigeria will deliver a State of the Judiciary address. Other leading stakeholders in the justice sector will present speeches bordering on the state of the sector. Recall that the Supreme Court commenced its annual vacation after a remarkably successful 2024-2025 legal year on Monday, 21st July 2025. Meanwhile, the planned commencement of trial in the cybercrime charges brought against suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha'S before the Federal High Court in Abuja was stalled today following an objection raised by her counsel, Ehioge West Idahosa, son. Akpotiuduaghan is facing a 6-count charge brought under the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention (ETC) Amendment Act 2024, brought against her by the federal government. Akpotiuduaghan, who was arraigned on June 30 and granted bail on self-recognition, is alleged to have transmitted false and injurious information via electronic means with the intention of maligning, inciting, endangering lives and breaching public order. The charge filed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, stated that Akpotiuduaghan, while addressing a gathering on April 4, 2025 in Ihima, Kogi State, alleged that the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, instructed former Governor Yahaya Bello to have her killed in Kogi State. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moyono has emphasized the importance of sustained unity and collective effort among citizens and residents in driving the progress and growth of the state. Speaking at a special interdenominational Thanksgiving service to mark the 38th anniversary of the state's creation, held at the International Christian Worship Center, Uyo, the governor urged the people to forgive one another and eschew unnecessary acrimony capable of truncating the peace and unity of the state. The governor, while commending the great sense of unity, maturity, and understanding shown by the leadership of the various political parties in the state, appreciated the guest speaker, Archbishop M.I. Song, for his impactful message. The governor also took out time to celebrate and pray for the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, on her 65th birthday and commended her for her support and mentorship of his daughter, the Coordinator Office of the First Lady, Lady Helen Eno Obaraki.
Great state with great people, but without the grace of God, there's nothing anyone can do. For this is not by flesh. So recognize all of you, and we thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you most importantly today, your grace, for the message. Thank you for dwelling on the theme that God has given us as we celebrate this season. Behold how good and how pleasant. Behold how good, and you can see it. Camera can show it. All the people that are here. Behold how good and how pleasant. Thank you so much. Thank you for that word. Thank you for reminding us to show maturity in forgiveness and reconciliation. That is the unity. When we all can forget, forgive, and move forward. A lot of people have been angry with me. Oh, people that fought you, you are now greeting them. People that did this. If we live in a country or a state where it is an eye for an eye, we will soon all go blind. Let us learn to put the past behind us. Let us learn to be magnanimous in victory. Let us learn to understand that all of those things happen, that the glory of God and the supremacy of God will be revealed. The idea of Kerkima, forgive one another. Let's move together. Let's plan and work for the common good of our state. That is my earnest desire. Yeah.
His goodwill message on behalf of former governors of the state, retired Colonel Yakubu Bako felicitated the state on her 38th anniversary, saying Akwa Ibom is one of the few states that have established continuity in leadership, and commended Governor for maintaining same.
By faith that I'm standing here to address all of you. You may be wondering why me, because it is by faith I established Akwa Ibom State Christian Welfare Board. You have united the people of Akwa Ibom State, irrespective of party, ethnicity. Am I speaking? The Ibibios, you are here. Ibibian so. Ana mama. Oron oje bari. God will give you the strength that whoever is going to take over from you will also move the state forward. And my last prayer, Your Excellency, is by September 2027, when we'll be celebrating 40 years. And that's when you'll be serving your second term. People of Akwa Ibom State.
Speaking on behalf of women, the state's deputy governor, Senator Akuneyayi, said they were delighted with the inclusive leadership of the governor and assured that just as the women in the Bible stood with Jesus till the end, the women of Akwa Ibom State would support him till the end of his administration in 2031.
Acknowledging the fact that His Excellency gathered us here to celebrate what God has done for us in Akwa Ibom State, to celebrate excellence, to celebrate progress in Akwa Ibom State, and to thank God for keeping us together. As women of Akwa Ibom State, if you look at this hall, I will say 80% of the crowd here are women. Your Excellency, that is a proof that the women of Akwa Ibom State loves you and appreciate the good work that you're doing for the people of Akwa Ibom State. Today, you decorated the women of Akwa Ibom State with a beautiful wrapper. We want to say thank you. Thank you, sir, for loving us
Chairman of the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Senator Ekong Samson, said the full presence of National Assembly members underscored the partnership between the National Assembly and the state government, stressing that he would continue to maintain the partnership to ensure that Akwa Ibom will continue to move forward. Others who spoke included the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Eldao Demeotong, Minister of State for Petroleum, Gas, Obong Ememekwerikweikwo, Chief Judge of the State represented by Justice Winifred Umuhandi, and Prelate Professor Isaiah Isong, who in glowing terms applauded the giant strides of the Umoino-led administration. Government House correspondent Jane Nwa reports that in his homily, the guest speaker, Archbishop M.I. Song, who is also the National Vice President of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria South-South, preached on the theme, "Behold how good and how pleasant," taken from Psalm 133 from verses 1 to 3, said, Akwa Ibom is mature enough at 38 years to arise to the faith of greatness. Now to Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo is set to lift its export ban on cobalt starting October 16. Tonight, the country's strategic minerals regulator announced that Congo will now control global supply through strict annual export quotas, adding that for the rest of 2025, miners will be allowed to export up to 18,125 tons of cobalt, a key material in electric vehicle batteries. Meanwhile, annual caps will rise to 96,600 tons for both 2026 and 2027. Reports say the ban was placed in February after cobalt prices, which hit a 9-year low, had triggered force majeure declarations from major producers, including mining giant Glencore. Still in Africa, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi issued a pardon on Monday for prominent activist Alaa Abdel Fattah, who has been jailed for the better part of the past decade. Prominent Egyptian British activist Alaa Abdel Fattah, who spent much of the past decade in jail, became a symbol of the struggle for human rights in Egypt. His pardon Monday by Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi followed a long campaign for his release, including a 10-month hunger strike by his activist and academic mother. The 43-year-old British-Egyptian national, who was pardoned alongside 5 others, was a leading figure in Egypt's 2011 uprising and was jailed under each administration since. Following his latest arrest in 2019, Abdel Fattah was sentenced in December 2021 to 5 years in prison for spreading false news after sharing a Facebook post about alleged torture in Egyptian jails. We move now to the foreign scene, where the head of the Kremlin-backed government in annexed Crimea, Sergei Aksyonov, has blamed Ukraine for a deadly drone strike, while Kyiv said a Russian attack had killed 3 people in the country's southeast. Aksyonov said the Ukrainian military had targeted the Crimea resort town of Foros, damaging the grounds of a sanatorium and a school building. Aksyonov noted that 3 people were killed and 16 were wounded as a result of the UAV attack, adding that fragments of the downed drone also caused a fire near the coastal city of Yalta. Still on the foreign scene, Foreign Secretary Vet Cooper says she has warned Israel not to annex parts of the West Bank in retaliation for the UK's recognition of Palestinian statehood. Cooper made this known to journalists today before attending a conference at the UN in New York, where France and other European states are due to make a similar announcement. Recall that Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced yesterday the UK's recognition of a Palestinian state, along with Canada, Australia and Portugal. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, however, condemned the moves, saying they give a huge reward to terrorism. Still to come in the news, Ballon d'Or 2025 organizers review 3 criteria for deciding winner. Stay tuned for details of the stories and more in a jiffy.